Hello and happy pre-Super Bowl Friday from Radically Rational and RadicallyRational.com. Yeah, I broke out the Sweetness t-shirt. I broke out the Walter Payton t-shirt because I'm sure Sweetness was smiling about what he saw last night at the NFL honors. Let's face it, the NFL doesn't do everything perfectly. Sometimes the NFL doesn't do things well, but they nailed it last night. And you can say whatever you want about Dak Prescott, the quarterback, but Dak Prescott, the human being, is spectacular. And he serves his fellow man, and he's been through a lot, and he wants to save other people and work for them. That is indeed the NFL's Man of the Year. But think about this, the NFL did it all right. The AP awards, I think they got them exactly right. The only thing I was a little surprised about, certainly not that Mahomes is the MVP, that was open and shut, but how could 2 of the 50 voters not have listed Mahomes number 1 on their ballot? That's really the only thing I don't understand. But all the other awards I thought were spot on. And how about the bright future for Mr. Calderon's Jets? As the Jets get Rookie of the Year on both sides of the ball. George Kittle, he was a hoot. The NFL choir and that moving tribute to all the great people that the sport of football has lost in the past year was wonderful. Recognizing everybody that saved the life of Damar Hamlin, that was cool. You know what else was cool? Damar Hamlin. Yeah, it was absolutely great. It was so good that even Kelly Clarkson won me over by the second hour. Nicely done. And what a big splash of cowboy blue last night. Let's start with the incoming Hall of Fame class. DeMarcus Ware, yeah, Zach Thomas, and best of all, finally, Chuck Howley. Yeah, that was great. Did you see, speaking of Mahomes, did you see his pre-recorded acceptance speech? Don't get me wrong, that dude is always locked in. But did he seem especially focused to you? Yeah, that will enter into my calculus tomorrow when I give you my official Super Bowl prediction. And you better know that that intensity that Mahomes is displaying and that quiet confidence is figuring in for the Eagles as well. All right, Brett Favre, this is so disappointing. Used to be just about my favorite player to watch. He has now filed 3 separate lawsuits against a Mississippi auditor and national sports commentators, Shannon Sharpe and Pat McAfee, accusing them of defaming him with respect to the Mississippi welfare fraud scandal. Brett, the only person who has defamed Brett Favre is Brett Favre. And you have no chance of winning these frivolous suits, and there's a pretty good chance they'll just get tossed out of court immediately. Most disappointing. All right, here's the thing. You always know that when you want a special reservation at a special time in a special place in a special restaurant, if you will, that you're going to have to tip the maitre d'. You're going to have to reach into the pocket and tip the maitre d'. Look at what Texas and Oklahoma did yesterday. And it only cost them $100 million. It's one thing to ignore a subpoena from the Jan 6th Congressional Committee, I guess. It's quite another to ignore one from Jack Smith. If you do that, you don't know Jack Smith. So here's the deal, Pence. Show up on time, straighten your damn tie, and get the broccoli out of your teeth. All right, so now the same GOP cultists who were ignoring subpoenas are now issuing subpoenas. That's rich. And if you've looked at these ridiculous hearings, it's the gang that can't shoot straight. The only people they're exposing are themselves. They can't get anything right. Friday's big question, and I mean this seriously, get back to me on this. Exactly who the F does Ron DeSantis think he is? And finally, what a loving, loving goodbye to Burt Bacharach. who had a special talent, a historic talent. He was able, as an artist, to use every square inch of his frame or his palette, if you will. And his ability to make very complex music and themes accessible to the American pop culture was nothing other than astounding. What's it all about, Alfie? More later. We are Radically Rational.